I'm Jonny Casino, and this is a Megadad's hardware review. I love Nintendo. I love the Switch. The Switch is the console I play more than almost anything. And part of the reason is because I can take it with me. I can sit on the couch, play on it while someone's watching TV. My wife and I can sit there and play on our separate Switches. We can do all these things. You can do it portably. That's what makes the Switch so great. Now, it comes to the problem. This is my Switch. We have two Switches. I have 3 sets of Joy-Cons. You cannot find a set of Joy-Cons in this house that does not have an issue. They either have the drift or the buttons don't work properly, something. The Joy-Cons are amazing, but they just were not built to last for some reason. I've taken apart all 3 sets. I've cleaned them up, I put them back together, they'll work for a little bit, and they start drifting again, or a button stops, or something. So I had to find a change. I had to find some way that I could keep playing this, but on the go. It's gotta be a better solution. I'm here to tell you, there is a better solution. This is a Hori Split Pad Pro. Basically I needed to find something else to do. I needed to find another way to be able to play the Switch on the go and not have the problems. So I went and picked up a pair of these.
Ooh! Ah!
Now, let's talk about it. When it comes to the Hori Split Pad Pro, there is a few problems, and I want to address those first. The biggest thing is there's no rumble. Like, no rumble at all in these. For some people that might not be a big deal at all, and I didn't think it was gonna be something that would bother me, but I'll tell you this, there are some games that feeling that rumble matters, and it just doesn't happen with these. They are also extremely light. Like, there's no weight to these things because it doesn't have all the doodads inside. It's literally just what you need to press the buttons, move the joysticks, stuff like that. Now, the joysticks here. It has a full thumbstick on both of them, full. This is a big improvement over the Joy-Cons because they have these little ones, these little tiny, and they don't have much motion to them. They don't have much move. These, full motion. Now, when this really comes into play is when you're playing like a first-person shooter. Now, the Switch is not your go-to device for playing Fortnite, but I play a lot with my son. My son will be on the Xbox, I'll have to be on the Switch and handheld. That way we can sit there, hang out together, and play. Having the full thumbstick motion really helps. Now, I will say this. It almost feels a little too much. It almost feels a little too loose. It's hard for me to say definitively. I don't think it'd be a problem for most people, but every once in a while it feels like it's just a little bit loose. On top of that, we have a regular D-pad here. It feels fine. It doesn't feel like anything special, but it is a full D-pad. It doesn't have the little buttons like the Joy-Con does, and it's quite nice. Let's get to another big perk of these Hori Split Pad Pros. On the back of both sides, you have a back button. Now, whenever you're playing, you can hit and map it to one button on this one button on this one. You can't cross map, a B on this one, A on this one. No, it has to be triggers or the push stick or whatever. You only map it to a button that is on that side of the controller, but you've got it there. And it's nice because now, anyone who's played with the Xbox Elite controller or anything like that will know that it's nice to be able to hit a button to jump in the back without having to move your thumb over to hit the jump button when you're trying to, control the right stick. You don't have to worry about that anymore because you can map it back here. And the mapping actually works well. I haven't felt any delay, anything like that. It seems like it works great. There's also a turbo button on both sides. Now, I have not used the turbo button. I don't have a need for the turbo button. The triggers are more full triggers than the Joy-Cons for sure. I guess technically the ZR and LR, as Nintendo likes to call them. So they're good. They feel nice. I'll say the biggest thing about them, though, the biggest thing besides not having the drift and everything, is the full motion of the thumbsticks. When you hold the Switch with the Joy-Cons, your hands are cramped up in the front. They are your thumbs are just right there and cramped up. And this helps alleviate that, as I'll show in a minute. But as far as the back part goes, if you're holding it like this, it's actually quite comfortable, and your hand is pushed out far enough that it's not like all up inside there and your hand gets all cramped. Now I will say the one problem is when you want to hit these back buttons, your fingers become very, very like tucked in, and after a while that becomes very uncomfortable. Like it really does lose some of its charm, I guess you'd say, by the uncomfortableness of holding like this for long periods of time. It doesn't do us good. So that's definitely a tick against it. Now let's look at it and see how it works. All right, as you can see, I'm gonna boot up the Switch here. And the motion, it's very responsive. There's no delay, anything like that. Get into, when you hold it up here, your hands are far enough away that your thumbs actually fit and feel like they fit properly on here. It's not like the Joy-Cons where you're all tucking your thumbs in tight, because it's far enough away, especially on the right stick, to be right where you want it to be. Let's try out Mario World, because I think that'll be a good show of how well everything works here. Enter a level. We're gonna watch how well it moves, make sure. So back and forth, it seems like it moves quite nicely. D-pad, the exact same. You know, your A and B. Let's go jump on this little guy here. Sweet. Let's die. Now, just because I'm curious, let's try the turbo for a second. So I'm gonna hold down turbo and hold down A. So you just hold it down and it does its thing. So turbo works fine. That's outstanding. But as you can see, everything seems like it works fine. Everything works great. It's responsive in the way you'd expect it to be. I mean, it is physically attached, so it's not something you'd expect to be not good. Everything works good. The triggers, everything, great. All right, guys, let's take a final evaluation of the Hori Split Pad Pro. Comfort level. When you're playing, as far as the thumbsticks go, super comfortable. It could be slightly further out as far as the hand grip part, make it more like an Xbox controller or like the Pro controller. That would be nice. But it is pretty comfortable as long as you're not trying to use the back paddles too much. If you try to use the back paddles a lot, your hand does start to cramp up a bit. All the buttons work great. The fact that it has the back paddles is awesome. I love that feature. The turbo, don't really care, but it's a nice feature. At least it's there. Triggers work good. It doesn't have drift. I mean, it's really all you need to say. It doesn't have drift. Now, they're about $50 or so, I believe, when you buy them, which is still cheaper than a pair of Joy-Cons. But once again, the big drawback, they don't have the rumble. They don't have the rumble, and I wish they had the rumble. The other small drawback is you cannot play with them not attached to the Switch. Like, it is a attached only, they don't have any of the connection, the Bluetooth, anything like that. So, if I were to give it a rating out of 5, I have to give it 3 stars. 3 stars out of 5. If it had a rumble, if it is a little bit further out on the handles for a little bit more comfortable, this could be a 5-star device. But without those two things, I just cannot give it the 5 stars. This has been a Megadad's hardware review for the Hori Split Pad Pro. If you need replacements for your Joy-Cons because of the stupid drift and all that stuff, pick this up. I think even at 3 stars, this is your best option out there. Until next time, bye guys.